That's a sludge metal riff just off the top of my head. It happens to be my genre of choice as an artist. Hey, what's going on, podcast family, internet lurkers, Curious George, and the other curious little monkeys? How are you all doing today? Hopefully, as good as I'm feeling at this time. I feel good about my accomplishments because I have been working very hard towards something. But before I get into the specifics, I just want to say welcome to the podcast. This is episode 8 of Downloadable Brain, where I love the sound of my own voice just a little bit less each day, but I'm so damn many people are talking and lurking that I just couldn't help myself. Let's get involved. I feel good. I'm ready. I choose to manifest my own level of success. So, what does that mean? I'm going to lay it down for you guys right now. I just dropped my first official album under the artist name Spiritual Advisor. It is available for listening on all major platforms. And I gotta tell you, it was not always easy for me. I'm somebody who needed to come back as an artist, but this is definitely not my first rodeo. What does that mean? It means I experienced a lot of intentional sabotage, manipulation, and abuse at the extent of some people who made a very strong decision to start hating on me and downplaying my skills rather than showing me love and support, which is cool because I'm used to that as a man who comes from a very cold, calculated, and emotionally unavailable family. There are types of people who would gladly have me vanish off the face of the earth for any little type of material possession, recognition, or validation they can get, and that's including family and siblings. So, when Curious George and his curious little monkey show me some kind of respect from internet land, or lack of respect, you're dealing with a professional on narcissistic abuse. So you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. You're looking at me, hating, because I bring something out of you that presents a very cold and emotionally unavailable vessel. I'm glad to introduce you to your true self, but allow me to introduce myself. I'm a social disease. What does that mean? It means no matter how hated and despised I am by terrible, emotionally unavailable relatives, cruel internet lurkers, former friends, former coworkers, they all have one thing in common. They brought attention to what I'm doing. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for bringing attention to what it is I'm doing. I would always hear it from other people about how wrong I was for doing something and how right they were to put me down and abuse me. Yet here I am still rocking. Want to know why? Because hateful people who are cruel do not determine what I choose to do with my life or how much potential I have inside of myself to manifest success and become successful. Some people are really weird, man. They don't claim to, I don't claim to be normal myself. I got some issues, but here's the deal. I believe me being vulnerable at certain points in my life showed me the true nature of just how cruel the world can be sometimes. But that is no longer my problem. While so many try to intentionally stop me from having any form of success in my life, I just step into it anyways and choose to do me. They can say a whole lot of nonsense and try to downplay it, but all I can really tell them is that you do you. As long as you are doing you and as long as I'm doing me, there really is no reason to have conflict or chaos in your life or mine. Sometimes people who become abusive and emotionally irresponsible actually create chaos in their lives rather than manifest success. Want to know how I know? I'm a recovered, self pitying, jealous, clout chasing imbecile who used to try and chase clout. And I would latch on to any form of validation or relevance that anybody would give me, which was never a whole lot, but sometimes when I was abused on 5 days a week, the other 2 days people would show up and give me a very small amount of validation. What happens when we figured out that they're just straight up evil? The truth shall set you free, baby. And you know what the truth is? The truth is that no matter what anybody says about me, or no matter what anybody does to sabotage me, I always step back into my role and know what I aspire to do. Conforming to what others tell me I need to do is living their story. But not everybody is meant to be a part of our story. The sooner we accept that, the better off we all become. However, podcast fam, however, If you do choose to actually show up and rock with me, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to my words, hear out what I have to offer as an artist, and actually click on the music and listen to it. If you do that, I'm really grateful for the support. This whole YouTube game, the podcasting, spiritually related content, it's all like having this strong ability to multitask and see the potential to try different things out. Not everything is going to stick, but what really matters the most is that you enjoy doing what you do. As for YouTube, not everybody's going to subscribe, but all that really matters is if somebody's watching it and they take something out of it, because that's the definition of creating, right? Connecting with an audience. Like I said, it's not about being validated and living for that validation, but those who do experience validation might be more fortunate than others who don't experience a lot of validation. You should not be envious or a jealous hater of somebody who gets more than you, whether it be attention, validation, or just like a skill you don't possess. We're all kind of working towards the same thing if we're musicians or even artists, like somebody who does anything related to the arts. To live inside the energy of somebody else's actions or words becomes kind of just toxic because that's not you, it's them. Remember, you are one of a kind, and if you believe in yourself, nobody can really hold you back from doing what you want to do as an artist. Even if people are like, I hate this guy, I'm never going to work with him, fine. Allow them to hate you and allow them not to work with you. They have the right to say and do that, just as much as you have the right to focus on who you are as an artist and what it is that you do. There's no shame in following your dreams. The illusion is that you need to run your dreams by somebody else for approval before you choose to start following them. It's just not true. I'm doing a little shameless self promotion today, but if anybody can take anything away from this podcast, my advice is to just get started and begin practicing your instruments. Begin to practice recording your work. Begin to practice writing a song. Practice learning a cover from a band you like. It's not easy and it does take a lot of work and it doesn't happen overnight. But when you've been doing it for as long as I have, you almost become this new person who starts to perform things on autopilot. Like as I do this podcast right now, for example, I'm putting my thoughts towards the microphone, which I am able to manifest as the result of working hard on myself and stepping into my creative potential. It's really no different at all with being a musician. You don't start out as being a musician at the top. And those that do maybe just had better connections than you did. But that doesn't make a difference now, does it? If you believe in yourself, you dream to become something more, and you practice your instruments, you will start to level up. Leveling up does not need to be limited to how much money you can make, because if you cannot love the heck out of what it is you're doing, you will never reach that level that you need in order to level up and get to that next point. But once you do, you will no longer need to practice every single day of your life. You will no longer sink all of your time and energy into working on it constantly because you've already worked so hard on it and challenged yourself so much that the minute you do pick up that guitar and strum the note, or the minute you pick up that set of sticks and play the beat, it becomes so natural to you that you're not even thinking about it, you're just doing it, and it's happening to you. So that's kind of my advice to anybody who's new to music or somebody who does the same sort of thing I'm doing. Maybe you feel stuck in a situation. I know there's been a lot of times where I felt stuck. I was chosen to be taken advantage of by a bunch of people who I've never met, and even some people who I have met. And as much as they're having a good time picking on me and cheering on my failures and downfall, guess who's having a better time right now? I am, because like I said, it's on right now, baby. This is the release party of my debut album. It is in full effect, and I'm enjoying the fact that I worked hard for this and created it myself from nothing. When everybody else told me I am nothing and I'll never be anything, I simply chose to keep going and not give in to their words. Because their words do not define me. I define me by my actions. I really don't think these people know something I don't because they always said I was nothing, right? Well, this nobody just dropped an album and it's official. Check out Spiritual Advisor on Spotify and all major platforms now. I will leave a link to the releases on this episode if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on any other platforms, feel free to search up Spiritual Advisor if you're into sludge metal music or just something with heavy riffs. If you like metal, it may be for you. The whole concept behind this album is to challenge like societal norms and get the listener thinking about things. Even though it's a full on instrumental album and I don't speak a word in the music, I challenge things to get people thinking. And I don't go like really hard into it. It's almost as if I'm telling a story of how somebody can live in darkness their entire life if they choose to. And we cannot always control our environment or the people around us, but how we choose to spend our time and view ourselves speaks volumes compared to what others say or perceive us to be. So check out that album. It's official and I just dropped it. I'm going to end out this podcast by playing a riff so you guys can get an idea of what the album has in store.